Good evening, everybody. It is Thursday, September 21st. This is the September meeting for the Golf Commission. It's approximately 6 o'clock p.m. Present via Zoom is Commissioner Puccini, Commissioner Siena's here, Commissioner Berger, Commissioner Green, DeFazio, and Richards are all present. And Golf Director Sal Guerrero and Commissioner Norton. So, with that being said, we're going to call this to order. Let's have a pledge of allegiance, please. Move your hats. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good, thank you. Okay, I'll slow down for you. Audience of citizens, we have Mr. Paradis with us, but I've asked him to come here. We had a conversation earlier, was it yesterday actually, as a matter of fact, discuss some items on the agenda here. So with that being said, there's nobody else here from the audience of citizens. Let's get into the meeting. Approval of the minutes from August 18th. Has everybody received the minutes from August 18th?
Yes.
Are there any questions on any of the minutes from August 18th? With that, saying that, can I please have someone
I make a motion.
make a motion to approve? Sevi? Second?
Second.
Okay, well, I'll take Jimmy Green second, because I got my ear on that one. So, all in favor?
Aye.
Well, that's like unanimous. There you go. Okay, that takes care of that one. Old business, there's really nothing listed under old business. However, if we go back to some of the prior, we'll cover. We'll just cover it with new business. How's that? We'll just meld them all into one. All right. Bridge update. I will start. We had a meeting last week, Sal, as it was, with Sal Guerrero, Mark Bayram, Arosh. I can't say his last name. Kevin Delaney, concerning the bridges and what's going on with the bridges. We kind of discussed the bonding from OPM. There was some bonding from OPM that's available going to the town. With that said, there's going to be a lot of people fighting for those funds, correct? So what I've asked Sal to do, and I think Jerry wrote that in his report, is to get some quotes for the engineer, or to get an engineering firm on board with this thing, so we can at least get an idea of what's going on. But I'll leave it at that, and so you can kind of take over and brief us.
We just got our approval from last town council's meeting to get an engineer, so they gave us $10 grand to find an engineer. Jerry's with Atlas Concrete of New Britain, and their engineers, as we speak, trying to find a game plan on how to renovate the bridges and what kind of work we need to put into it. From there, we'll have to put it out to bid and get some quotes from there, and hopefully get it started before the winter hits, in the fall. So, but it's all right now. It's the preliminary phase of getting with the engineer and getting a plan worked out.
Is there a timeline on that one, Sal?
Yeah, very fast. Like you said, we're going against other departments for these bonds.
Yeah.
So, September's ending. So, by the end of the month, we're gonna hopefully be done with an engineer.
So the engineer's already on staff. They're already under contract, correct?
He started talking with one.
Well, are they under contract? It's not. I mean, what does that mean? He started talking to one. I mean, that does not have to go out to bid because it's less than.
No, the engineer doesn't have to be on a bid. So we have one.
All right, and then
what has to go out to bid is like the real work.
yes. Okay, so who's the point person on talking to the engineers? You?
Jared.
Do you think you should be involved in that one? I mean, this has to happen like tomorrow.
Yeah.
I mean, because otherwise this has been dragging on. I'm surprised. Truthfully, I'm actually surprised that this has been done already because we've been dealing with this thing for over a year and a half now, if I'm not mistaken. So, I mean, the longer this waits, if this thing's not done by next week, we're going to probably lose out on the funds. If you're asking me, I mean,
we are working under a not looking to drag our feet with the streets.
Because then the RP has to go on the street. Oh, I'm sorry, one more. Right, the RP has to go on the street, and usually that's a month, right? And that's even quick, right?
Just to write one up probably takes a couple weeks.
That's so you're
So,
yeah, unless they're writing that thing up or whatever.
we hope to have a better update by the end of the month, so which is
This has been going on a couple of years, right? And I thought we already did this with the Corps of Engineers and everything else about these bridges. So are we saying that nothing has been done to this point? Is that what we're saying?
I find that hard to believe, considering Jerry has sat in these meetings for years. I mean, truthfully, and that's what I'm saying. It's like how can I say this? It's like we're fumbling all over again, and it's just like reinventing the wheel. And every time we say we're going to do something, and I'll bring something up later. This is a perfect example of this thing that, you know, and it all leads back to the same people. I mean, I hate to say it like that, but there's no way around it. It's just,
I mean, it's getting done, which is fine. I just thought, I thought that these were already engineered already, and we were waiting to get the money to
well, that
pay for
could be my understanding too. I mean, I don't know about that one, but yeah, this work was already done. Jerry already contacted these people because he talked about the blocks that were in there. I mean, and then we talked about what was going over Lemon Orchard and how that was like less than a $35,000 bridge. I mean, this is. I mean, our frustration is just like, you know, it's the same thing over and over again. I mean, you're the new guy in the block, but the ball's in your court, you know, and you know, so we're looking to use it.
I'm just asking the question. I'm not blaming her or anything. I'm
No,
just asking the
get back to your
question.
point. I recall that Jerry talked to the town engineers about the bridge.
right.
I'm not sure he talked to anybody
To the national-
outside, right?
I don't
It
know.
was the-
I know like Steve Wazia
Right,
and
he talked,
Mike
yeah.
Ahern, the in-town engineers have looked at our bridges and
Right.
they've told us that it does need updating, you know, for coding and structure, so if that's the engineer, I don't think that's where we are now. Where we are now is forward of that. You know, I can only obviously look at the timeline since I've been here. You know, things have been moving forward, right? The clock has moved forward. The bridges are moving forward.
Right.
You know, we're trying to move forward with a lot of things from our meeting about long-term planning, right? So, in my opinion, where we are now with the bridges is moving forward.
I'm just a little confused. We have town engineers. They
Yeah.
came out, I remember, they looked at it, they know what's gotta get done. Why do we have to go outside again?
Yeah.
Because I think we're
I
spending
mean,
money
you know,
for
it's
no
like,
reason.
it's like we're spending money to get another review to say, hey, yeah, we agree with these guys. This is
Well,
what's gotta
I don't
happen.
know, is this,
I don't know.
is this a designer coming in now? I mean, I don't know, is this a guy who's?
I don't know.
So,
I don't know, we got.
Doesn't it make?
a quick question.
Yes, sir.
I-
So-
Any chance that we can go to like Central Connecticut or University of Hartford? They both have really big civil engineering programs. They've got juniors and seniors that are looking for intern assignments that are guided with, you know, professors mentoring them. Get this done, if not free, very cheap, and probably get it done starting a lot sooner than going out for bid.
Well,
It's funny you say that. I have a meeting on Tuesday with some students about a bridge, so
another small walking bridge.
they offered, you
Well,
know,
then, like we had the last one, and that took forever, and then COVID hit. We had that thing hauled here, and it was just.
Yeah, but the problem is that they have to go to code and it's a 4-foot high railing and you know how that bridge is.
We call that the green railing.
Yeah.
Jimmy Green hit it so many times. That was kind of a shock to everybody.
But listen, if we have engineers in town, why?
I don't know that they're
Why
qualified
are we using
you're
our?
assuming the engineers in town
Yeah.
at the time
or even qualified to look at that one. Yeah, I mean,
they have
it's structural.
projects to figure out these stuff. So,
Yeah.
Oh,
you know, I think they were nice enough to look at where we are and suggest where we have to go, but the engineer right now is the one that's really gonna tell us, you know, what kind of bridge we should have and, you know, their suggestions.
That's
So,
fine, I was just asking the question.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna have to somebody that's qualified to sign off on it, with a professional engineering license.
Yeah. I'm sure we have PEs on
I'm
staff too,
sure
but
in
you're, I
town we
think
have,
Sal's right,
yes.
it's like, as far as it goes. But I thought a lot of this was already taken care of, but that's why it's just, it seems like we keep going, rehashing the same things over and over and over again, and nothing's there. I mean, this is, I don't know. what-
Again, I think it was the town engineers, nothing outside.
But I know for a fact we brought up Lyman Orchard bridges. I know for a fact we did, because I showed a picture.
I remember you said something about the Corps of Engineers. Who's that?
The Army Corps of Engineers.
Because he said that they.
And that was for the flood.
We can't do
That
the
was-
burns because of the Army, the Corps of Engineers don't allow, or something like that, so that's why I'm just asking the question.
Well, so I can get.
I'll look into it, Peter, and see.
No, I mean, that's fine, but
See if there's anything we can add on to what
let's
we
just
talked
move,
about.
move forward and get these things done,
Yeah.
so, yeah.
So you think by the end of this month, we'll have a report on, is that what we need?
That would be by the end of the month.
This month?
With the month's almost over.
You'll have a
No,
report for,
no,
you'll
no,
have
no.
a-
Report, it's not like to start digging or anything.
no, you'll have a
No,
report
no,
of what you're gonna
no.
need.
Yeah,
That's what I'm
yeah,
talking about.
yeah.
Okay, so they're gonna have the spec report is basically what he's talking
Okay,
about.
okay, well, it's,
So,
Which bridges are, I know we're gonna do 2 bridges.
all of them, all of them.
Oh, we're doing them all?
All.
Seven,
Oh, I
Yeah,
thought
if
it was
they're gonna
just
do them, they're gonna do them all, and that came out of the meeting, it's like,
yeah.
you're not gonna piecemeal this thing, just do it, get it over and done with.
The last I knew was only 2.
Well, we talked about doing them piecemeal, that was coming into place, and now we're just talking about doing them all. And if it says get rid of one, you like over on 14 to the left, then you do that, I mean, it's like whatever, but you have to make sure that emergency vehicles, can make their way across those things, right? So, and that's part of the concern there too. All right, thank you, Sal, appreciate it. All right, next is prioritization of improvement list. This also came up in our, meeting with Sal, I mean, with Sal, Mark, Arosh, and Kevin. And that's one of the reasons I asked, Jerry to show up. We have the list that I asked, all the commission members for input on. I put it together, just kind of threw it down. And what happened from there was, I sent it to Kevin and Arosh, and Kevin kind of took everything and compiled it into a couple different categories. And that's fine, but the reason that Jerry's here now is because we need to have something, you have to look at this thing, and we can prioritize this, and we will prioritize this, but if you look through this thing, only a handful of things really need to be bonded on here. And by the time you're said and done, I think there's 4 or 5 items that really need to be bonded. And that's part of why Jerry's here. Because he needs to know what should be bonded, because they're looking at, what, a 5-year plan?
Yeah, what happened was
This is
earlier,
Jerry Paradis, so we have it on tape here, with the Board of Finance. Mark Bayram just showed up, it is 6:13. Okay,
so earlier this week, I got notice that there was being called a joint meeting of the Board of Finance and the Town Council on September 25th to discuss bonding over the next 5 years or so. And when I heard that, I contacted Jim because I wanted to make sure that, knowing that you've been working on this list, that you have your top items in to Mr. Delaney before this meeting takes place next Monday. So that, you're on the list as saying, these are things that we need, because there's gonna be a lot of things thrown out by a lot of different departments, and there's gonna have to be a bunch of prioritization going on. And if you're not on the original list, it's gonna be that much harder to get on the list afterwards, I would think.
Right.
So that's why I wanted, to come and just hear what it is you guys are talking about, so when questions come up at the meeting, I have some idea of where
do you need a
guys
formal
are.
list from us?
No, I mean, but you should present that to Mr. Delaney
I will,
before
okay,
Monday's meeting.
that's fair enough, okay.
You want a copy of
No, I
No,
have
he already has it, you have, so, and let's kind of cut to the chase on this, so, if you look through this thing, I'll just read them out loud, first of all, course redesign has to be changed to course improvements. Redesign is scaring people off, and they're thinking, oh my goodness, we're gonna, freak out with this stuff. Yeah, but as you look through that, you know, the bonding, true bonding on some of this stuff, to me, and would be, you know, car path replacement, and we're gonna get into this later, with some, maybe, the bunker work, but I don't know yet, but that's all dependent upon insurance and
Yeah, that's-
something that's gonna come out later, and I'll give you some ideas of that, and as you kind of go through this stuff, you know, irrigation replacement, but that, then again, I don't know how long these things are supposed to last. And even just setting a reserve, I mean, we can start thinking about this, and this is, you know, and I've said this before in these meetings, we can look at some of this stuff long term, and you know, how do we set up reserves, even with CIP, and you know, it could take us down different avenues that we don't want to go down, but we have to really kind of think about this and putting CIP aside and maybe just not even spending it, but you know, even on here is a new clubhouse. To me, that's like pie in the sky, but you know, especially since we need a new police station, and so where is that going to stand? But as you start coming down here, you know, like a cart barn, you know, we don't need that immediately. But if you start thinking about this lease, we have a 5-year lease, which is going to probably, when we negotiate, and after 4 years we'll have new cars, just the way these things work. But you know, to bond something like that, and you know, what does that cost? You know, and so, you know, say for an 80 by 120, you know, barn, one of those structures with a certain, you know, and I did some research on this. You know, they're figuring $20 a square foot, right? $20 a foot. You know, that's without, that's for the steel barn with the height, and that's without excavation. So you know, if you think about that, I'm saying, you know, anywhere from 200 to 225 is probably a realistic figure for something like that, and that gives you enough room to take care of extra space for Ramsey downstairs, or whoever else owns the facility at that point in time is running the facility. They can store some of their stuff down there too, wherever it's going to be, and that's another thing. So where it's going to be, but I'm just throwing numbers out. I know I'm throwing a lot at you right now, but at least there's prices, some prices with some of this stuff. You know, bridge replacement, obviously, replace update equipment. You know, those are two bonding things, but. You know, my first brush at this thing is, you know, number one and number two would be, you know, bridge replacement, and two would be the replace, update, and update the equipment, right? I mean, those are needs, right off the bat, and you know, then you start getting into, okay, so, you know, what else do you bond? I mean, I'd love to have a new clubhouse with a restaurant, but because the footprint is just, listen, it's awful. So if we're going to go down that road, I mean. You know, do we plant a seed now and have someone draw plans? And you know, actually, Jerry had a great idea a long time ago with the phasing plan, and it was I didn't even think about that. But you lay the footprint, and then you just start building, you know, phasing the end. You know, and will it happen? Listen, I don't know. I don't know, but at least it's a start. You have something on a piece of paper, right? And that's. You know, irrigation. How long is our irrigation system good for? We put 20,000 into it just recently.
Jim,
Right.
with the equipment, do you think would be better to lease it than own it? I mean, because we don't have we have a mechanic down here.
That's a great. I don't know.
Yes.
We have one, yeah,
Right.
we do,
I mean,
right.
But
okay,
how qualified?
His experience is not as, you know, as much as our open county.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. I mean, I think on the long run, we'll make out better by leasing it, because if something happens, then they can take it, fix it, and then get another one, keep going.
Yeah, but if you lease it, you're still responsible for the maintenance of it. That's still
But you
falls on
put that
you.
in your contract.
That's still full. I've never seen a lease contract where you.
You do it with a car. You can do it with a car. I mean, you just lease it, this is what I want for the year, or however we want it, and if it breaks down, that's somebody to come pick it up and bring another piece of equipment in. You don't need a mechanic.
Well, that's.
I mean, something to think about, you know?
Sure.
Generally, we don't bond equipment. So I would suggest you not putting that forward as
Okay,
something.
that's fair. Listen, that's.
If you wanna deal with it through leases or master lease and take care of the annual payments through your operating budget, that's totally different.
Fair enough.
I guess what I'm concerned about is the irrigation, because I know, reading the reports here, we had some hits this year on lightning strikes on irrigation. So there's gotta be some immediate work done at the irrigation.
I think they took care of that. That was a 20,000, right? That took care of that.
Alright.
My question, truthfully, go ahead.
And then the other thing is bunkers. Where do we stand with the bunkers,
Okay,
with
well,
the
well,
insurance part?
okay, so-
Because that's a big item.
That's
No, that-
different, he's gonna get to that.
We're gonna get to that too, but that's all part of this whole thing. But your point with irrigation, so, and I asked the same question, are we putting a Band-Aid on this thing? And, you know, how long is this system supposed to last? I mean, it's 50 years old, right? Let's just call it what it is. So what's gonna go? Are the lines gonna go? I don't know, but they're saying the brains are the most important thing of this thing, correct? And correct me if I'm wrong, but the heads are gonna replace no matter what, right? But they're saying now, and that came up at our meeting, you know, are we putting, you know, chasing good money after, you know, after bad? And they're saying, no, with this, that's not what happened here. So I guess we're good for another at least 10, 15 years, something to that effect, correct?
Right.
So that, yes, that's that is a valid point that you made. So that answers that, but then you go down there and you have, you know, you have bunkers and cart replacements, but bunkers, you know, I mean, cart path, you know, listen, some of these things need to be reworked. They really do, and, you know, does that go on the list?
Yes.
You could do a phase, project with that too. Don't just do it all at once.
Well, who's gonna come in and nobody's gonna come in and do paths, you know, you're gonna have to do the front and the back, I mean, realistically, that's just, no one's gonna come in and do something piecemeal, it's just not gonna happen. Right, they're gonna drag the equipment over there, and they're gonna wanna do, you know,
Well,
a certain amount of.
We talked about the cart paths on a temporary basis. We did all that work with the tennis courts. We had all that
Yeah, the
fill
film,
there.
yeah,
Right? And we said, hey, we wanna bring that mill into some of the areas that really needed to extend it. So, you know, we could phase in the cart paths at some point, but in the meantime, it'll look decent. I mean, you look at number 9, where the gold tees are and the red tees are, that's all, not even gravel, that's
It's
just
dirt.
dirt.
there's
It's
holes.
just dirt, and now it's starting to extend into the grass.
So, you know what, then let's have I'll just throw this out there for the devil's advocate, why don't you just make a car path only and have a car path go through the whole course?
Mhm.
I mean, truthfully, I just, you know, I mean, maybe you do that, I mean, I don't know, but that's why we're here, guys, and ladies, and you know, everybody, that's why we're here.
Well, you can take some of that milling, son, not like what he's talking about 9, and you can,
But you don't, that doesn't solve the problem.
But it makes it look halfway
it's
decent.
decent, you see what I'm saying, because like, but what he's talking about is,
It's not 9, it's every hole.
but
Every
you can
hole
make
has
that
the
work,
same
you can
problem.
make it work if you do it the right way.
You have scatter, and let's just call it what it is. Look at every hole that you have. The minute you do that path, it's you know, it's an abomination. It really is. So doing- Yeah. Do we now say, listen, it's just car path only? I mean, I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there. It's something to think about. You know, it may not make the list for this time, but on there. But I think you know, this is probably a good time to talk about the bunkers now too.
Well, hold on, Jim, before you do that, this cart barn thing,
Yep.
if somebody doesn't go out and try to get a darn grant, then we are doing ourselves a big disservice, because why should we bond something we could probably get money for? There's money being thrown out
Well-
everywhere for going green. There's gotta be some money out there, and we gotta have a grant writer who's gonna go for it.
Okay,
Go
well-
look for it.
Can I say this? Right now, we need to get something into the Board of Finance and Kevin Delaney to get on the list, even if it's a placeholder. Suppose we decide, no, it's not gonna be that. You know, are these fungible items, Jerry, or are these specifically for projects?
What do you mean?
The bonding?
It's usually for a project.
I think you should work hard.
But a project could be, cart paths could be a project, irrigation could be a project, bunkers could be a project.
Yeah, but suppose we change our mind and say can we reprioritize these things?
Well, I
at any
think
point?
that has everything to do with how it comes across with Kevin. You know, you could do something broad like golf course improvements, all right? And to me, irrigation, bunkers, cart paths, all of those things fit under that definition. So the bond authorization has everything to do with what's included. But right now, I mean, if you wanna pick and choose, or you wanna say we wanna do golf course improvements such as you know, I think that's a bigger, broader thing.
So this actually should come from Saul, not from me, correct?
Well, it could come from you, you're, I mean, you're a commission of the town, you know.
Alright.
We're,
Alright.
we're assuming that you're both in agreement.
Fair enough, okay. So, the more general the better, actually, if you think about it. You know, and that gives you a little bit of leeway. Perfect.
They aren't gonna ask for specifics that,
Well,
you know,
I-
like
You can't just,
golf course
you,
improvement, and then you have to add.
yeah, you have to have, it, you know, if you say I'm looking for $1.2 million for golf course improvements, you're gonna have to say, you know, we think it's gonna cost $400,000 for the irrigation, $300,000 for the bunkers, you know, whatever. So you have to have some detail behind it, but I agree that if we're gonna do improvements, you know, you should be able to have some flexibility within it, to, you know, if the grant money is, not the OPM money is not used for bridges, and we need to bond it, you know, then more is gonna have to come out of the bond issue. You know, if the grant, it does come through, well, then maybe less of it, so,
But isn't some of that insurance money going towards that?
Well, let's talk about that now, the bunkers, what,
The bonds would be bridges.
the bonds are bridges, the bonds are, well, you can bond the bunkers too, but what is going on with the bunkers, cause that could come into play with this also, as this is, and I will write something up and send it to each of you, tomorrow.
The insurance company, they received the square footage and cost from when we redid it, what, 10 years ago?
Yeah.
So they have to update an estimate to current costs. And we should have that end of the month,
Do we have any idea what we're looking at?
like money wise.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you right now. From my understanding, the last one was maybe from 250 to 300.
1,000?
But from the, those are costs that,
Please tell me we're not gonna use the same company again.
Well, that was, okay, so with that,
Thank you.
I don't know who the last company.
well, no, we were talking about, basically, you're talking about fabric and pin.
I'm talking about, they came in to repair the bunkers after the last time we had this problem, and it was the same company that that created the first problem. So there's three strikes, you're out, they have to get somebody else.
Well, I think we're looking at now, looking at different options, and one of them, you know, is what we're doing is, taking the bunkers and tying the drainage into the other drainages out there, and that's what everybody's doing. And then putting sod over it, and then putting the sand over that, right? And the cost of that, well, just for the sod, is between 42 cents and 46 cents a square foot, right? And that's basically where it's going. I've already reached out to three different courses.
It's either that or the capillaries, those are the two
Well,
things
the capillaries,
that
you can't
those are
afford
the
that.
two things that are happening right
Yeah.
now, that are trending.
Well, there's two versions of capillary.
Yes.
There's concrete and there's the Billy Bunker one, which is more of like a spray. It's not concrete.
So are we gonna get the money from the insurance company, or that hasn't been decided yet? The insurance company said, hey, we're gonna give you the dollars?
Sounded like
Well,
that.
we don't know yet.
Yeah,
We don't know that yet.
They haven't said
So-
yes or no yet. They just
I
have all
mean-
the information.
Yeah. This might be all for naught, the insurance company could say, no, we're not gonna do it, we're not giving you the money. Alright, now we need to get it over here.
Well, we can put it on the list, it doesn't mean it has to stay on the list, right? I mean, that's how you have to look at it. And, you know, so to redo it, you know, if the cost of the sod is say 46 cents a square foot, how many square feet of traps do we have?
Well, some of our bunkers are really big, like they can go up 15 green side. There's a couple of big ones.
Well, how many square, I mean, like someone like Wampanoag, I think he's got about 130,000 square feet, right, in total. So what do we have in total rough? I mean, you have any, I mean, I wouldn't even know,
I don't know about
I mean, the conditions of the bunkers right now are not very good.
they're awful.
And, you know, you go up number 9 on the right-hand side, that's ground under repair, because there's a white line right around it, because that's how bad it is, alright? We're asking people to pay top dollar to play the golf course, and we're not doing anything. I think bunkers right now is one of probably the top priority to get it in shape, alright, and get the money, whatever we have to do to get it fixed.
Those a good time to eliminate a bunch of them too, so
Yeah.
that.
Yes, I agree with that.
So that it
I think we're in agreement with that.
doesn't cost as much.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
That's the
that's,
maintenance cost.
yeah.
I mean,
But
the
that-
insurance claim will only get us to where we were at,
Right.
right? It's not gonna take us to the promised land.
We understand that, but once they write you a check, what you do with it is up to you.
Right, and then if we wanted to do the bigger renovation, we'd have to go back to the town and get some funding.
That's why we're here. And that's part of
So
it.
it sounds like bunkers need to really get
The
at
bunkers
that.
are on that, bunkers are on that one too, correct. And
To me,
that's,
bunkers and bridges are like kinda tied.
yeah, and then, you know, the bridges, they're talking, what, probably $250,000 realistically,
For all seven.
for all 7 bridges, right? That's what they're talking. Will the bunkers cost that much? I've hard, you know,
Hopefully not.
no, I wouldn't think so. If you have 130,000 square feet, I mean, of bunkers, I mean, that's even at Wampanoag, right? And then at 46, the cost of the sod is 46 cents. That doesn't include the labor.
You're just assuming that we're gonna go the sod route.
Yeah.
Well, you're right.
You are
You're right.
assuming.
The thing is, like, usually you're separating soil and, you know, sand and rocks. That's why there's an actual liner back in the day, that's why there's actual concrete.
Yeah.
So you're separating it. The only thing we're hearing about the sod system is you're not separating. So and over time, rocks are gonna come up through the sod. But that's what we're hearing.
Listen, that's,
So
We'll
this-
research
Ten
everything.
year, who's had it for 10 years now? There's, Shuttle's had one, what, for 5 years now? So, I mean,
Who decides that these are the bunkers that need to be eliminated? Do we need to get an architect out here to look at the
well,
course and say, hey, this is.
didn't we talk about this once
Yeah.
before? Again, it comes down to, not you, but your predecessor. Again, it's the same thing over and over
The
and over
architect you
again.
bring in will depend on what you wanna do,
Right, right.
because each architect
I mean,
has a certain
well,
work.
I can tell you which,
Like number one, no architect.
No, right.
That was just in-house reno.
I mean, I can give a list of
They
bunkers
shut
that we should
bunkers
take
down.
out.
I think that, I think if people have ideas, put them on paper and present them, and then let them look at them and take them what they will.
We'll look at
I
the
have
costs,
ideas
so
too.
That's,
for all the options, and as a team, we'll figure it out.
so bunkers will go on that list also, but yeah, I think if we just do this general and we throw numbers on there, so whatever they are, and we'll just present it and then, you know, we'll see what sticks and what doesn't. Fair enough? And, you know, and that includes the barn and everything else, and we'll just we'll go from there. I mean, this is not saying that we can't pay for some of this stuff on our own, once you know how much money you have left over, right? I mean, we're not saying that you can't, because we can start doing some of that stuff, and I think, correct me if I'm wrong, we could put money into a reserve, I'm talking to Jerry Paradis down, into a reserve, we have reserve accounts. I don't know what we have in the municipalities here that we could put, you know, over a couple of years to save for something. We have 3 years to spend it, correct?
Well,
Is that normally how it goes?
Normally, any capital appropriation has to be spent within 3 years. You have the CIP, which is a special revenue fund where the money goes, and it would not be out of line to say that if you did end up with some debt service coming out of, you know, whatever bond issues you're looking for, remember the CIP was originally instituted to pay for debt service for the original irrigation, I believe it was. So it may be that whatever you're funding out of your CIP would not be available. If those are operating expenses that you're doing now, that money would not be available because it could possibly be required by the town to go towards debt service.
Is there a limit on what I could carry over on CIP? So I can set up, we can set up if we say, listen, we want a barn, and just hear me out, and we know that's gonna take a couple of years to accumulate a couple $100,000. I can just keep throwing money in there and just not spend it, and just, then when it comes time to build something or whatever, I can just say, I have the money in the reserves, correct?
Yeah, it would have to be appropriated, you know.
But that's
you'd
fine,
have to go
it's
through
it's in the CIP, and we have the ability to do that.
Yeah.
They're not gonna pull a sweep.
No.
Okay. And a sweep, you know what a sweep, everybody knows what a sweep is? Well, if there's money left over, they come and they sweep, they throw it back into the general fund, right? I mean, it's just, you know, that's a state trick.
Do they have, why do they do that? Do they?
Why do they do
Yes.
that?
But I mean,
I don't know,
they-
Jerry, why do they do that?
They want to.
Yeah,
Because they can,
so without any reason, they
because they
just.
can, and they just use it for whatever they wanna use it for.
Interesting.
Moving along.
All right, very good. So I will put something in place and leave it general enough that we can go on there and just kind of go from there, and that's fine. And I'll send it out to everybody. You'll have it by this weekend, and you'll have it by Monday.
Well, you've gotta get it to Kevin.
And then Kevin, and I'll copy. Should I copy to you on that one also?
What's that?
When does Kevin need it? Next couple
Well,
days?
25th.
yeah, they only work a short day on Friday.
You're going home tonight.
Right.
Like tomorrow.
Yeah, but what's today's date?
23.
It's either tomorrow or Monday.
Yeah, you'll have it in your hands, and then he'll have it by Monday. Fair enough. Thank you, Jerry.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Didn't wanna hang with us?
Wow. I got a prep for the football game.
Oh, that's good.
The Jets aren't playing tonight.
Yeah, the Giants are playing tonight, not the Jets. Jets. All right, next on the list. I know that we're going fast, people, but you know, thank you. I do appreciate you guys spending the time looking at this list and we're scheduling the ordinance meeting.
Yeah, I asked to be put on because I did speak to Kate Wall on
Yep.
the issue, and she recommended the right protocol is to have the commission send a request to a Roche saying that you want to get on the ordinance meeting, to discuss. Because I didn't know, but there was an ordinance meeting back in June, all right, and we had an opportunity to get on there, but nobody knew that there was
And the
gonna be an
ordinance
ordinance
meeting is
meeting.
basically the town council.
Does this sound right? Yeah,
Right.
okay.
So,
But they don't meet every month.
no, but we gotta find out
You know
from
what
the
is
Roche
actually
or
on
whatever, is that when they do meet, we wanna be
Yeah.
put on the agenda. I mean, you know,
Okay.
so I think that needs to be done.
So we need to, I'll send, there's a letter to a Roche, right? Okay,
And put a copy of Kate too,
okay, fair enough.
so that she can remind the guys.
And would you like to speak, Sam?
On the ordinance meeting?
Yeah.
Sure, I'll be glad to.
Good, all right, cool.
You know,
We will go from there, fair enough. I will send I will send that. All right. The union contract is coming up for bid again, is there,
The blue collar.
the blue collar one, right?
Yeah.
That's coming up, so, we were supposed to have input into that for our, charter, thank you, Peter. All along, and this is probably the first time that we're gonna have any input into any of this thing, because they've been solving this thing without, any of our input whatsoever, right? So I asked Saul, I actually did ask Saul to, the contract is on the town website, everybody has access to that, it's a public document, correct? And I think that the things that we're all concerned about, are the number of, what do they call them, the work hours, number one, right, that's one, and the number of, part-time employees, correct, the temporary, the seasonal employees, right, and the work with the seasonal employees, so, you know, I mean, it says, as I read this, and I'll read, it's 16.8, is like, we'll deal with the seasonal employees first, it says, seasonal employees may perform all duties, they are capable of performing, including weekend work. A maximum of 4 seasonal employees may be hired by the golf course, and such employees may work up to 1,200 hours per season, March to November. No more than 124 hours, 124 total work, no more than 120 total work per calendar year days will be permitted. So is that per employee? Okay, but let me finish this. Golf seasonal employees may not perform weekend work unless there's an equal ratio of seasonal employees to bargaining unit employees for all weekend work, which is fine. So it's a 1-to-1 at that point in time, right? And then you get into the regular season employees, the right of refusal. All right. So my question to you is so you can hire 4 people, but is that 4 people at a time? Or is that
for the
just,
season.
well, I hire 4 people, right, and then they're only here for
The 9
4 months, the non-union, right? The seasonal employees are here for 4 months, how come I don't have seasonal employees now?
Are we talking about the 9 months or the part-timers?
Well, this is,
Because the 9 months are still here.
this is
There's
seasonal.
3
So-
of them.
Joe's seasonal.
Yeah, Joe.
So
Destiny,
is a seasonal,
Kyle.
what's a seasonal employee? I thought that was a part-timer.
No,
High
those
school?
are summer help.
Yeah.
That's summer, okay, so I didn't see
Yeah.
anything for
There
summer.
were 120 hours for the season.
Okay,
I think we had what, 5 or 6 of them?
Something like that.
okay, so, see, you can hire 4 seasonal employees.
At least.
Okay, so they have so each one of them can work 120 hours,
For the
correct?
season.
For the season, so why can't we have a laundry list of seasonal employees even now coming in?
Well, those are usually high schoolers, so.
It doesn't matter, I mean, it's a part-time gig for somebody, correct?
I mean,
I mean, I don't understand that this is,
we've been looking. I mean, it's.
well, have you
really-
contacted unemployment?
No.
I mean, listen, it's not rocket science, I mean, you know, you're looking for people, I don't know what you're paying an hour, right? And they're seasonal employees, I
And it's
mean,
going up.
15 something.
Yeah, it's going up.
right? So, I mean, that's another way of looking at it, right? I mean, I can have four at a time, right? Maybe, or at least 4 at a time is what they're saying.
So
Well,
what's
we
this?
have, Joe and Anthony are still there,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
So there's 2, who were the other?
Kyle.
Is Kyle still there?
Yeah.
There's 3, and who's the other one?
That's it.
Joe.
Joe,
Joe,
Anthony,
Anthony.
and Kyle.
Kyle.
There's 3.
So there's 3.
So we need.
Are they considered seasonal, those guys?
Those are your 9-month blue collars.
So, but that's not a seasonal employee,
No,
so it doesn't matter.
Joe
Well,
and
I
Anthony,
mean-
Joe and Anthony are seasonal, no?
I don't think so. They're
No.
considered full-time.
So why can't we have more people there, and why is Jerry cutting
Well,
grants?
It would be nice to have clarification on
Well,
what,
this is what I'm
what
trying
is
to,
what.
No,
That-
they're,
Peter, I agree with you.
they're not seasonal.
They're not.
They're not
So
seasonal.
the seasonal are the high school kids.
Yeah.
Yeah,
a college kid, so why can't we just hire
And
more
what
of
does that
them?
say, we can only have 4 of them?
Well, that's what you put in the contract. You know, and they can work up to 1,200 hours per season, right? But no more than 128
Days,
total
they
work
can't work more than
per
120
calendar year days. 120 days, big deal.
Yeah, see, the
Those
softball
4,
courses,
but those
softball
4.
courses get around that by, they take staff from this course,
Well,
swap them over to
Well,
that
that's,
course.
well, that's
and
right,
they
and that's
do
what I'm trying to
this.
say, why not just hire more kids?
Well, yeah,
So why aren't we doing that? I mean, I don't get it, I really don't. It's like, it just doesn't make sense. And we've never done that, but this is, you know, we have, what, the foreman, Jerry, basically, the manager, mowing lawns.
and,
This is crazy. You know, I mean, you're paying him a hundred
The
some odd
part-timers,
thousand dollars.
they don't mow the grass.
Well, I think that, I disagree. I saw a kid, this summer mowing rocks on 2. I went crazy on him.
But that's what I'm saying, like,
They're mowing, no,
they're
the
not
kids are
really
mowing.
qualified to do it.
Well, wait a minute, Trafford's mowing.
Well, Trump's been there a while.
But, Time, you said they're not supposed to mow. He's mowing, so they can mow.
I'm not saying they're not supposed to, their ability to do it.
Well, I mean, what I'm trying to say is, we have the ability to have more people there, but we have not been taking advantage of it, because it's just, we've always done things, well, we've always done it that way. This is what we always do. Well, those days are done, right? I mean, look where we're at, look what we have. It just
But they
doesn't-
used to have a lot of people working here.
And now we got to discuss, I mean, they don't have enough crew.
No,
They
they
just
don't.
don't have enough crew working there.
No.
They just don't. I mean, it's obvious, you know, you can't do with what you have.
so they could have 4 people working in early spring, then another
In
4
summer.
people in the summer,
And some in the fall.
and
Yeah,
some in the
for
fall.
120 days.
Yeah, you gotta remember, we gotta pay for that.
Yeah. I
Well,
mean,
we have to pay for that, right? But that's okay. We turned back how much to the general fund last year?
Mm.
100, over
But
150,000?
you get a lot more done.
So how do we compare?
So, I mean, listen, you get what you,
Just saying, how do we compare to other courses? For example, how many, Ellington Ridge, I know it's private, but how many employees do they have working in maintenance area compared to what we have? Are we way
I
below
think
them?
it's more the hours, not the bodies.
the longer days, you mean?
Yeah, I mean, right now, you're like our 9-month blue collars, they have 29 hours a week. 6 of those are already in the weekends, right? So, you know, in the weekdays, they're limited even more. So that's what we're trying to figure out in this new contract is
They only work
How-
29 hours a week.
correct. That's according to the MOI from the union. And we're under.
So is this another, is this a good time to talk about Brightview again? Or something like that, outsourcing this stuff? I mean, I'm interested, I don't know.
I mean, when you stop and think about it, like you said, if you only do work on somebody 29 hours a week, that's nothing getting done.
And
Just be honest.
and does overtime count as time and a half?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's,
So
so it's
now,
even,
see what I'm saying?
so it's even less than that.
Exactly.
It's like,
Jeepers.
I mean, they'll be better off putting somebody in there 40 hours a week and forget about the overtime. Because now you're losing the money by the overtime. Put the 40 hours, give them 40 hours, and they'll get the job done, a lot better.
I know, I can't believe they don't work 40 hours.
It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, they work 29 hours a week.
Exactly, that don't make
All
any
year
sense.
long?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, for their 9 months.
Yeah,
Right.
but then
But
everything
about
over
40
that
hours,
is time and
yes.
a half.
29 and a half hours, how that
And 6 of those are in the weekends.
Yeah.
and that's a 3 hour, what's that, a 4 hour workday? 4 hours, right? 'Cause it's
Minimum
time and a
4
half.
hours,
Minimum I thought it was 3.
3.
3 hours.
3 hours?
Yeah.
So only to get
But
double
you
time?
get paid for 3, even if you work 1, 2, or.
Right, see?
Well, wait a minute, if you work, why aren't you working for the full 3?
They are though.
No,
You know.
so it's not like they're leaving after an hour, right? They're still
You
working.
know, and I gotta say, I mean, we gotta admit, on weekends, there's only a crew of like 3 maybe, or 4 at the most, and I mean, they get the shit done.
But if
Wait,
you,
well, you're,
But if you
get
put
the stuff,
the-
they get the stuff done.
but if you put the 40 hours a week in, okay, you eliminate some of that overtime.
I'm not saying
No,
anything
that-
other
that's-
than, you
listen.
know, I mean, these guys are working hard and.
Yeah, we need more staff.
Yeah,
You know
you
that,
need
more
but yeah,
staff.
Exactly.
we can always
More
use
staff,
more,
more
we can
staff.
always use more help, and if we're not spending the money that we're allowed in our budget, then we should get more help.
Right.
I mean, that's how I look at it here. The truth is, that's how I look at it.
Right.
But, so, you know.
So who's talking with,
Solace.
yeah, but the commission has input, so,
Well,
well, if we don't have input, we can
Suggest.
suggest or, yes, we
So
can,
our-
we can
our-
voice concerns.
Our suggestion to you, Sala, is, well, concerning that is that, you know, be able to have them year round, number one, but, you know, is it, how can it, this thing of limiting them it's hampering us, and it really is. And it's, the operation of the golf course comes first, I mean, no offense. And if you have to agree with it, and that's why you have your union rep, right? I mean, no offense, you do, and we've all been involved in those things, and whatever, but the golf course has to come first. And the running of the golf course, the business has to come, otherwise, we shouldn't even be in the business.
The problem with us is that these guys are lumped in with the whole town. And so it's not just a golf course,
But this,
it's not just a golf course thing, it's the whole, our blue collars are not separated.
but they're
So
carved
wait,
out.
so
They're
you're
carved
saying,
out.
it's lumped into the whole town.
Correct.
So the guys that are working on the golf course, it's part of the guys that are working for the town of Grove.
Correct.
Okay, then, so then how come they don't come together when we need help?
That's a very good question,
Okay,
James.
but if that's the case,
a very good
Bring, we need a truck over there, bring it over there. We need this done, bring it over there. Working as a team.
Hey, we've been trying to get the flail mower here for how long?
Oh, we got it once, we got it a couple of times.
No, yeah, okay. No, you didn't. The reeds,
It's been 2
yeah,
years.
whatever.
And
They'll
then-
close down certain tees because the reeds are so high.
And boy, when those surrounds are mowed down, it is a beautiful golf course.
Right.
It is stunning.
Well,
Because that's what I
Okay.
said this one today about the ponds, and all.
so, I mean, these are our concerns to you, right? And you're gonna present those to,
Maybe the commission wants to write a little letter that I can.
there's already writing 2 letters here. I got another one to write too. The other part that I have concerns about, and I read through this, you know, briefly, is, you know, we understand the hours of golf operations, right? And it can be Monday through Friday, you know, 5 AM to 5:30 PM, and that's fine. But why do I need somebody in there in the middle of winter, 5 o'clock in the morning?
We're not here to file in the
Oh, no?
Uh,
5:30?
6.
Okay, that's not what happened, I can remember specifically that was happening.
No, they're at 6 in the winter.
Okay, so what are you doing at 6 o'clock in the morning in the winter? Light's not even out yet.
They were
There's
6
no
to
sun.
2.
But the sun's not up. What
What
do you,
time would you like to do it?
well, no, not me, you're the boss.
I'll let him know.
You're the boss, but I mean, what do you do at 6 o'clock in the morning when it's dark out and it doesn't get light till 7:30?
Machine,
Yeah,
they're
like that's
working
the
on.
But we don't have a mechanic anymore.
I've seen, to be fair, I've seen them out there with the lights on the machine, because I've been up there for getting the tea time.
In the middle of winter.
Middle of the winter time, you got snow, you got removal, you got things to do, so I can't say what they're
I think,
gonna, what they do now.
I take that back, you're right, because they're loaning them out to other departments, correct?
Yes.
Okay, that's my, I didn't know that.
Oh, wait a
I
minute,
wasn't sure.
Jay. Billy and them go to the town in the winter time. They plow for the town.
They
Am I right?
Yeah, they're not
Okay.
charged to us.
It's
We
not
don't
on
pay
our
that.
back.
So it's not charged to
We don't pay that.
Okay, then, when do they come to the golf course? Or do they come to the golf course?
The golf course is their primary work.
Right, so, but they're gonna plow for the town, and then after they finish with the town, they're gonna come to the golf course.
I mean, what time are they plowing? Are you like?
Whatever
they could
snow.
plow
No, no,
all
no,
day,
no.
they could-
No, I
whenever it
understand,
snows,
There-
if it snows,
whenever it snows, but
It
then,
can snow any time of the day.
right, but the thing is, who's the
I don't
monitor, I
understand the
mean,
question.
who's plowing the snow around the golf course? Like to get into the building? Can
We
the
are.
fire department?
We are,
Who's we?
the
town.
golf course
The
staff.
golf course staff does that?
We're responsible
I
for
didn't know
Rice's
that.
grounds.
Really?
It's in his contract.
Okay, so that's
Except
exactly,
the parking lot, they're not.
No,
they
no
don't do
parking
parking
lots,
lots.
no.
so they gotta
You
be,
just
So
have to
what-
do the path.
so they gotta,
I don't understand what,
Into
what
the
is the
building.
path?
Like where, how you walk up like a ramp,
going into the restaurant.
Oh, that's it, so the whole,
you know,
the blacktop is the town,
Correct.
everything else,
in front of the golf shop is the town.
so the only thing is a path, there's two paths,
The
right?
only thing the town does is the road and,
So they have a
The
snow
parking
blower,
lot.
it's not like they're plowing it, they have a snow blower then, right?
No, they plow.
How can you plow the sidewalks there,
No, they shovel it.
What sidewalks?
well,
So
No,
going
no,
into
no,
the
they're
restaurant.
talking about the paths?
Yeah.
No, they have a snow blower
They have
for
a
that,
snow blower.
we were talking the town comes in, plows the blacktop.
yeah,
Plows the parking lots.
so they're
road
responsible,
is
they're just
state.
responsible for
Entering the
getting
building.
into the building. I got it,
Correct.
got it,
it's
okay,
like when Ramsey has deliveries and stuff, or
Got
whatever,
it.
what he's doing.
alright. Alright,
When that gets done is a different question, because the golf.
well, that's,
course-
yeah, but that's
That's
fine, listen, the town, what has to happen in the town is more important than anything else, especially
Absolutely.
if the course is closed. So what do you need from us? I already got sent some to Delaney, there's another one going to Eroge for, the meeting.
I mean, the one thing we're trying to get is obviously more hours. We're looking to hire a fourth 9-month, instead of just 3. And, no benefits.
Well, you have to pay benefits, you have to pay FICA, and so,
Right now, 29.5, we don't,
you don't pay FICA?
well, we don't give them benefits.
They don't get benefits.
Of loan insurance, because they're under the 29 hours.
Yeah.
Okay, well, alright, fine. You still, okay.
I think that's why it's hard to get more hours with the benefits.
So that we can add more people in 29 hours, and stagger was 29 hours, right? So
Yeah.
you could do one 7 to 1, or 7 to 1,
Listen.
overlap 10 to 3 or something.
They don't have enough people to do what has to be done.
See, what happens is you can't have a
They just don't have
season
enough
without a full-time.
Correct, it's,
It's a
especially the
one-to-one.
weekend.
Yeah.
So
That's why you see Greg
Yeah,
Right.
they
Billy,
need
you see
a-
the two.
Right.
They need
And-
regular.
And therein
person
lies the
with
problem of, you know, at 1 o'clock in the summer, 1:30, whatever it is, they're gone. Even if we have 10 seasonal employees,
Right.
they're gone at the same time, because
But if you stagger
you
them,
have to have, well,
Well, the stuff is like, there's only certain times in the morning where you can cut, right?
Yeah.
right.
yeah, yeah.
If you stagger, you can't cut at 10 a.m. when there's fewer horses.
Sure.
That's the kicker, is you have to have a union with seasonal. If that were eliminated, then you could have your union guys in the morning and everything else, and then you could have some seasonals till 3 or 4 o'clock, trimming around trees with, weed whackers and stuff like that, but you can't do that, so.
Okay, alright. I will send something out, man, you guys are killing me. Alright,
It'd be nice to bring a letter from the commission to our meeting.
No, this has to happen before that. When are you meeting?
2 weeks.
Is that the first meeting, or you're gonna have several meetings after
This
that?
is the
correct?
first one.
Fine, so that doesn't have to be, today or this weekend.
Well, we might put off tomorrow.
Sure. Well, thank you, Commissioner DeFazio, I appreciate that. Is there anything else you'd like to add to that?
We'll be working till
No,
one.
no,
The
right.
ordinance,
Wait till I'm hungry,
you go
then
for
they
it.
start playing tonight. Wait till I'm done and I'm all about
Okay.
audience of citizens.
Okay.
Hi, Gail.
Thank you.
Gail Mew at 6:56.
Black on 5.
Black on 5. Okay, so there was a comment in there from from Jerry on his that he's all done with work on 5. Yet the plaque on 5 is still on its side, right? I mean, it's still sitting there on the side. So obviously we're not done with this. It's still right on 4. The placard on 4 that was knocked down by the fountain is still sitting on the side, right? So we are not done with this. So that I'm not sure what they're gonna do to put that to fix that, but so be it. All right, so can we take care of that? Thank you. I'd like to say thank you to the Men's Club for their donation of the soil boxes. I think they are great. I think it's I personally love them. I think that it's a those little things mean a lot. They really do. The fact that they have the bottles in front, everybody knows about the bottles that are in front of by the Star Shack, and then on the part 3s they have great little boxes of soil. Is there seed in that stuff, or no? Is it just dirt? I haven't seen any seed in there. I don't know.
Is it the green mix?
It's a green.
It's the green mix.
It's the green
Yeah, I haven't
mix.
seen any of that stuff. Are you sure these guys are putting a seed in there and not taking it home? I haven't seen any of this stuff. All I see, I don't see any growing. It's just, but truthfully, it's I think it's a great step up. It is. Those little things do mean a lot. They really do. So, thank you to the Men's Club, and I think we have some members of the Men's Club here. Peter, you still on the board there?
Yep,
So
for now.
Yeah. Well,
Until October.
okay. Well, thank you for that. Move on to Jim. Because of you, we're swallowing us, Jim. All
We
right.
put money in every week.
We all do. All right. The Goosenator. Is that thing still running or what? What's going on with that?
The Goosenator is going, actually the Men's Club just bought, $1,200 worth of parts. New skis, motors.
Oh, it fell apart. I didn't know that. I didn't know it broke down.
It's due for an overhaul. I mean, the life expectancy on that thing's 4 years, 5 years.
I didn't know that. That's not bad. I was like,
So, no, I got all new parts and to be honest with you, that was gonna be a winter project for me, but I got
because the geese are back.
there weren't any today.
I saw them on the.
Oh, they were there.
They're yeah.
Yeah.
Here, you need these?
There weren't any when I played.
These are just readers.
And I gotta be honest with you, I mean, the Men's Club donated that cart, that Goosenator cart. And
I didn't know they
well,
donated a cart,
we
but okay.
bought it, we bought that cart,
Yep.
and then because of whatever reason, liability or whatever, being in a town facility, we couldn't have it there. So we ended up donating that cart to the town, okay? So now the town owns that orange cart. Well, it's broken, it doesn't work. It needs either clutch or something, and there was talk about selling that, trying to sell that, getting a different one in, so I don't know where that is, and I'm sure it's not high in the priority. But to do a goose run with a regular cart
Doesn't make
is
sense.
not easy.
So
Because you have to hold the Goosenator on the side, and you've got the toolbox, you've got the remote, and you've got the ball catcher that I used to pull it in from the pond. So I don't do it as often, it's a pain in the butt to do it on a regular
what's
golf
wrong with the
cart.
cart? I mean, it can. How has it been
It
down?
does, it'll go fine, and then all of a sudden it just goes to a crawl and it won't even get up a hill. I mean, I've had to get pushed in 3-4 times, so I'm done with that cart. That cart hasn't been used.
Is it a golf cart? Is it a golf cart?
It's an orange one. You know what? Nobody knows what the heck is wrong with it. You know, like the clutch, it might be a clutch, but that's a $1,500 part. So we're not gonna spend $1,500 if that's not, if that doesn't.
Well, how much
fix it.
is,
We
how
don't
much,
know.
how much did the cart cost? Rough,
The car was $4,000.
$4,000.
We bought it for 4,000 used.
Okay, oh, you want it used, okay, I'm sorry.
Yes. Yeah, we bought that.
To have somebody come in and look at this thing, how much would that cost?
They-
just to look
they-
at it.
No. Easy Go, it's an Easy Go car.
Okay, yeah, okay.
They've looked at it, they tried to tweak things and this and that, nobody really knows.
So the guy comes down and.
They can't fix it, is what you're telling me, they don't have a clue.
Yeah, I mean, you know, he's torqued it as much as it could go, but the thing just dies going uphill sometimes. So is it a clutch? You know, you know how the golf cart works, right? There's a belt, and as you give it the gas, this thing closes in on the belt,
And-
which makes the belt turn.
Sure.
So I don't know if it's that or what, I mean, Jerry.
Well, you know what we should do? We should buy endurance for a car sheet. It's a car sheet.
So, I mean, yeah.
What's the matter with you?
When I have the
You
golf.
watch too much TV.
When I have.
It's
the-
true, it works.
When I have the Goosenator cart, it's simple for me to pull into that driveway, get on that cart and go. Now I have to go up top, get a golf cart, bring it down, move everything out to that cart.
So you had, Easy Go's already come in and looked at it, they can't figure it out, obviously.
They won't speculate what the problem is, so, I mean, you know, I would like to see that cart sold or traded in or whatever, and get us one that I can modify like you did that one, so that we can maybe chase these.
Or you could buy a dog.
Dogs don't work.
Maxie's.
Well, they do, but you have to have them there every day.
Yeah, I used to
So
bring
you
Max
gotta
up
take it
all
home,
the time.
cause you're there every day, you take the dog home, teach it how to swim.
Yeah.
No, they can, they gotta fix
Feed it.
So what are our options?
I mean,
Our options are buy one, get another one, right? That's an
A
option.
cart?
A cart, that's an option.
that would.
And the other option is, so Easy Go send me a different route.
Take an existing car out of service and let me modify it so that I can make it. into a
But if
car.
you do that, you own it. If you modify it, you own it.
No, I mean, you can build stuff on it, you put stuff on it that just bolts on or whatever, without modifying the thing.
Okay, but the other thing is, why can't we just go and find out how much it's gonna cost to have it?
Because they can't figure it out, is what you're telling me.
No, they can figure it out, they can fix anything.
Well, do we have the right mechanic? Let me just say that.
Right.
Is it the same
Easy
person
Go,
coming?
Easy Go mechanics, they've had 2 or 3 of them, and they've worked on it, but for whatever reason, it just stops. I mean, it's extremely frustrating, so I don't use it anymore, because I got stuck at 7:30 one night out there, and there's nobody around, and I'm over there pushing the thing, and it's not easy. I put it in neutral push, I got it as far as the driving range, from 13, mind you, I pushed that thing. Okay? And then I got somebody finally, somebody was coming around playing golf, and I asked them to just push me.
Like you said, it's an easy go cart. I mean, they should be able to take it in and figure something out, what's going on. I mean, if they.
I mean, it still works, and it still works fine. I have 2 hallucinators, as you know, there's
Yeah.
one under the stairs, and I have replacement parts for everything. Over the winter, I'm gonna make, we're gonna have 2 of them, but.
So we need to figure out how we're gonna get this thing fixed. I mean,
Let me ask, it's first, I'm sorry, Peter. it's the
No,
first time I'm hearing
I know it's the
about
first
it.
time you're hearing about it. No, this is nothing on,
Let me put
it's
some
nothing
time
on
into
Jerry
it.
either. I mean,
Yeah.
Jerry, truthfully, they tried to get this thing fixed several times.
Yeah.
I get it, it's not a priority, I mean, the clutches are expensive, they're like $1,500, $2,000, and that may not even be the issue, I don't know. But I'm just saying that I'm not doing it as often because now
Yeah.
it's a pain to do.
Sure. But trying to isolate the problem and identify the problem, it seems to be the real issue here. I mean, can we call it, I mean, I don't have any contacts at Easy, I mean,
No, we
and
have
you
some-
just go to the regional person and say, listen, I need your best person, whoever he or she is, I need him down here. Because obviously the last 2 people couldn't figure it out, and it lasted, and
Even Hawks, what's his name?
Mickey,
Mickey looked at it, I think, and
couldn't figure it out.
He's a golf pro, he doesn't
Oh, is it?
Exactly. He likes it.
You know what, I mean, you're gonna find somebody who's gonna fix it, I mean, you can fix
No, I
anything.
mean, let us start with easy go.
Exactly,
Yeah, all right.
and go from there, hey.
Fair enough, okay, cool, thank you. P and L. All right, well, rounds are down, guys, everybody, I should say guys, everybody, rounds are down, right, the rounds are down, and, you know, it's, weather, I'm sure weather has something to do with it too, because I mean, rounds were down at, Stanley also. But, listen, I think
Where are you looking at the rounds are down?
Mark sent something out in his that has the rounds down.
It's not there, I think he's saying for August, is that what you're talking?
Yeah, well, August.
Overall, they're not down,
Overall, they're.
Overall, but then the last 2 months they're down.
the last 2
Right.
months.
They're down.
You haven't looked at the one before?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know what, we're gonna get hammered again this weekend.
Yes, we are.
Yep.
Everybody's in the same boat on that one, you know, and it's just, what are you gonna do? I mean, it's, we looked at it, you know, we didn't cover our costs, and we didn't do it last year either, and so, I mean, what are you gonna do? It's just, we are here, right?
Well, year to date, we're still up. Year to date, we're up 124 cats. That's a good thing.
And what's been a lifesaver is just, you know, how Mark handles our T-sheet with these and maximizing our, you know, potential profit daily. I think that helps a lot. Obviously, when you have outings, you're bound to lose them to weather each year, but it's how you handle the daily T-sheet, you know, that's a plus for us having Mark handle that.
Did CARC reschedule?
Yeah, but those are limited too.
Oh, good.
That's good.
That's the first time in my 13 years that we lost outings due to weather.
That's unbelievable, huh?
I think the Manzi one year we did,
We did, yeah, that was, yeah, we didn't even redo
but
that.
it was like, that's been it over my time, and really haven't had to do these big outings.
Big ones.
Yeah, but thankfully they both been scheduled for October.
Good, all right, good, excellent. Anything else? No, okay, open discussion.
So I heard Brightview today, and trust me, that conversation will come, right? I just don't know when. Have the conversation as a group.
Yes.
Good. Very good, listen, I keep harping on this, but we obviously, we don't have enough help there to do
Yeah.
what has to be done. I mean, there's plenty of other issues, there are, and there are, but, you know, it's, you know, your hands are tied, right? Their hands are tied, so,
There could be a lot of changes in the next year or two, from turnover to outsourcing stuff. So, you know, right now I'm just kind of I just want to get to the winter, see how this year ends, and see what next year brings, and we go from there. So I'm sensing a lot of changes in the next season or two, just in personnel.
okay. The T signs, I mean, yeah, the clock, when is that clock, that's in December now?
Supposedly December, I was gonna ask Sal tonight, but we should get the pad up this fall.
This fall, yeah. And we
Right.
have the pad, the sizing of the
Right.
pad was mailed in, so,
So we'll talk to Jerry about when we can get that.
the earth contractors,
Gonna
we're
do it?
trying to get in their books now.
Okay, good. And then my hope is maybe we could do the dedication on opening day in the spring.
So
That would be-
obviously we'll wait for some good weather.
Well, you're not, if it comes in just January and there's no
You're not
other
gonna do
other
another
guys
winter,
aren't gonna put it up, because your team, Jerry and his team are putting it.
Yeah.
You know,
They're putting it in?
It's not, I don't
It's
think
not,
it's not.
it's bolts.
Yeah,
I don't think it's heavy.
no, it's very light, cause it's hollow.
The hard part's the hole and the base.
Yeah, just making sure that we.
And it's solar?
Yes.
Good,
Beautiful.
nice.
So hopefully, they'll get the base in before the frost and then, you know, come this winter and, figure out, you know, when, we can
I'll
install it.
email that lady again, see if we're still on the same time.
Run a break for December.
CFP budget, I mean, what are your plans for the fall, besides the bridges?
But this is where, you guys, you have to figure it out as a group. I know one of the things that you guys always say is you were never really involved in how we spent CIP, so
Well, put it this way,
let's talk about it.
well, all right, fine, you know what, we'll have this conversation.
We have 7 bridges.
You know, we've always been using, tree cutting, CIP for tree cutting. Well,
And I've always said, what are, how's
well, you know, and we had this conversation, and then I was like, that's all we, right, operating expenses. Tree cutting and maintenance is operating expenses, I don't know where we've gotten, we went awry, because we did. So, going forward, it's, you know, it's OE.
Where's
you
the
know,
money gonna come from though?
It's OE, well, it could have been on 200,000 we basically gave back last year. You know, or 197, 50,000, whatever, after the chargebacks happened.
We give it back.
With years, the last, I think we did something, 2 years, and then before that, years before that, and we're talking this amount of money. But it doesn't all have to be, OE. If there's something significant, like a improvement on a hole, like hole 2, that's CIP funds, because that's not just, you know, cutting down a couple trees here and there.
That's been my complaint all along. If it's a dangerous tree, why are we paying for it?
Well,
Sage Park, the town pays
I
for
don't
the
know.
tree in Sage Park when it's dangerous. But if it's for a beautification of a hole or to change a hole, and we elect to cut down a non-dangerous tree, that's on us. But if it's a tree that's in danger of hurting somebody, I never understood why we had to pay for it. No other department in town had to pay for any of theirs.
On number,
Park and Rec doesn't have to pay for
on
it.
number 8, who owned that tree? Did the town own that tree, or the guy who owned the property owned that tree?
That I don't.
Did anybody look into that?
That I don't.
I think
that's on
I
our
don't know,
property.
was that on our property or?
See, that's something,
I think the town may have made out with the number of golf balls that they found in there, right?
no, I mean,
I think, we're in a surplus
yeah,
on
that
that
could have been
one.
his property.
I can't.
Yeah.
You'd have to, we'd have to find out, I mean,
Yeah.
well, it's done now, I mean.
It doesn't matter, it's over and done with, but then,
I know, we took care of it, I mean, the town took care of it, but it could have been on his property.
well, it doesn't matter, you had a tournament going on that day, right? We were playing that day,
We
and
played that whole half hour later, I saw everybody rushing to the eight hole.
So this year, they don't really need to take that many, they don't have to take any trees down.
well,
Really, so,
Oh, it's probably true, Jimmy. I mean, we took a few down over the winter, so.
There's always some trees that.
there's always something that has to come down, but they don't have to come out of CIP.
but see, the reason why I say that, because I think around the ponds,
Yeah,
they need to cut all that stuff down.
I think,
I mean, that makes me.
What, the reeds?
The weeds,
The reeds, the reeds.
Yeah, I mean, some of it's
Well,
just overgrown.
Well,
if it's not CIP, it's gotta go on my outsourcing, expenditure line.
Right.
or it could be on, well, the reeds itself, I mean, I could
Oh, I'm
never,
talking trees with that age. I
Yeah.
mean,
the trees, you can outsource that, it doesn't matter, I mean, it's like,
but the reeds you're talking.
the reeds.
From
It's
the
just the pond surrounds, and the
Right.
brook surrounds.
Yeah.
Right.
We,
They're not even
you haven't
cut,
seen it, but a couple of years ago, every single pond and brook, the banks were, you could see were cut down flush. The most beautiful this course has ever looked. The most beautiful this course has ever looked.
So why do we need a flailer to cut down the reeds and all that? Why do you need a flailer? Why couldn't the summer help that we had use weed whackers that just?
No,
I disagree, you got
You
it.
got- you gotta have-
Flailer
Well,
will
you know
do
what?
all
That's
that in a
what-
day.
Yeah, well, you know, that's great. That sounds great, but if you can't get that flailer, and we always have a problem getting that flailer, except for once a year if you're
Okay,
lucky.
so then why don't we hire somebody with a flailer to come in and do it? How much
Well,
is that gonna cost?
I have no idea, but if you
You
have
should look
kids,
into it.
well, listen, I was at, Keene, and they had their crew out there with weed
We have a
whackers,
lot more people than we
I
do.
think
with weed whackers doing this
the
stuff.
way I've seen it from this year is the best thing to do is get rid of it.
Yeah.
Instead of putting monthly work on someone, you get rid of it and,
I agree.
With cattails and those things like that,
Yeah.
and, or we're gonna run into a problem with the bluebirds and things like that are nesting there.
Oh, I know.
We're not
Well,
touching any tree houses. We're not touching any tree
We're just
houses.
cleaning on the pond.
But that's not what I'm saying.
Just mowing down the edges of the
Oh, you're
pond.
saying there's,
I don't know if there's some
No,
sort
I
of.
don't think there's any birds or anything
They
there.
used to do it every year.
Mold down, but he's,
And
what
the
Saul's
flail-
talking about
The
is.
flail mower came here this year, it had to because it did 15.
Yeah, but it
Right,
just,
it
it did the 50, that's all it did.
And and the ground is never hard enough for that mower, because I guess it's a very heavy machine.
You
So
gotta do it in the.
work it out when the ground is hard.
You gotta do it in the winter time, like I was telling people, you know, as soon as the fall hit, the frost hit the ground, then that's when you bring that equipment out there and you cut all that shit back. Cut it all down.
it's the same.
That is what it is.
Well,
It is.
Okay, that's twice, like, you did that before, you did it now, it's like.
I said, well, you know what, passion,
Well,
passion.
So-
still be on our winter project, well, it's on the
Alright,
operational.
so,
Right.
if we, you know, if you're looking for things to be done, I mean, there's that fix up on the 16th, 17th. I mean, we started that project, it's never been fixed, it's never been completed, right? I mean,
I like to see all the trees that we've cut down, we've got stocks of wood built out all over the course. Pick it up, put it away.
No, what are you talking about? They put it
There's
either
only one
behind
place.
6, or they put it, on the right of 17. Those are the only two places.
There's only one place
Yeah.
on the
Number
number,
one.
number one.
Oh,
where-
number one, oh, no, yeah, yeah.
You can move, but it's not hurting anything, you can't see it, but it's
but some, I mean,
I see what
But,
you're saying.
but it's a winter project.
okay,
right.
and that's what we're talking CIP right
Winter,
now.
winter.
Winter
Listen.
project, that's right.
Okay, let's kind of refocus here. CIP, if they have CIP funds, I mean, certain things need to be fixed, right? They need to be finished off. 16 and 17 has to be done. It's just, you know what, we put the pilings that were down there, right, from the courts, and now it's, you know, it's a mess. And you know, so what are we gonna do there? Do we pave it? You know, I mean, I don't know what we do, but it's just, that's one thing to be considered of. The other one that we have to start thinking about is, what are we gonna do with, truthfully, what are we gonna do with 17, that lower T? What do you do with that lower T? I mean, we went gangbusters, that thing was built way back in the day, but no one ever thought about, well, how many be down there?
Well, to be honest, I don't think they should have put it.
Well, you have it, so what do
I
you
know
do?
we got it now, but I mean, eliminate it.
You eliminate it?
Eliminate it.
Well,
That's all I would say.
Can you relocate it to the top of it?
Well, no, because the top, the beauty's on the top, the bottom, you can't see.
It's a whole different thing, it's a whole
That's a
different thing.
totally different hole.
Right,
Right, so I just say
Yeah.
eliminate, I say eliminate
I
that.
wouldn't want
But some people like it.
I like it lower.
Yeah, but
We had
It's
requests
good
for
both
it.
places.
I know, but a lot of people
It's good
don't
both
use it.
places. It's not, it's a good hole.
It's a good hole, right?
Well,
It's
It
a
is.
really good hole.
So, I mean, it's just something to think about, and how about leveling some of the Ts? It doesn't mean bringing in heavy equipment, it just doesn't, I mean, it could be,
Right.
you know, outsourcing some of
You
this stuff.
set a recommendation of what we can do, so we'll look it over.
I mean, just look it over, I mean, it's just, you know, so,
Can we, and I've asked for this before, I'd like to see another set of multis on number 12 on the left side, so they can come over the pond, because standing on that gold tee on next to number 11, their balls are flying right by it.
Okay.
Their balls
So you're
flying
saying like
right
move
by
it to the left side sometime?
Yeah, I mean, they're just coming over to, you know, I like to see,
Right.
just like the ladies,
Yeah,
we
we
got
have
the red on both sides, and you can make a choice which one you want.
well, why do you have two sets of Ts? I mean, let's take a step back.
I-
Why do you have two sets of Ts? It just doesn't make any sense.
So the ladies pick which one you like?
The Olympics Club always plays.
Why don't you
the
just-
The
left.
18 holders always play
Yeah.
the left, it's
Yeah.
my understanding the 9 holders play the right.
Because
I've
you don't
never
have to
seen a
go
course
over-
with-
You don't have to go over water on the right.
Well, it's.
As much.
And then the white, and then the white,
I'm telling you what.
the white tees
We
are
can still
often
find it.
on the left as well.
Which one?
Sometimes the white tees, sometimes they're on the left, and sometimes they're more in the
But
back.
that's fine, you don't have two sets of Ts, you have one set of Ts. I mean, it just makes more, I
Not
just,
debate.
I saw something, I mean, I know this is not really the topic, but at Crestbrook Park, that they had in the fairway, they had two markers in the fairway for like the real forward tees.
A lot of courses do
Alright,
that now.
so like, it's not like the balls we have as tee markers, they were like plates in the fairway that they obviously stay in the same place, but they were the true forward tees.
just
Which,
something that I,
and
you
you
know,
don't
I
have to,
just,
you can mow
something
right
to think
over
about,
them,
yeah.
like you can, it doesn't affect anything, it's just installation of them, and I think that the Lady Niners you know, would appreciate some of them being up like that. So, I mean, we've heard it before, you know,
Yeah.
because our golf course from the forward tee, like the red tee, is long for the women.
Yeah.
It really is, like,
I
for the
understand,
lady
no,
nine,
that's fair enough.
the 15th hole should be a par 5, I think,
Mhm.
like 370 yards,
Yeah, you're right.
so,
Why can't you make it a par 5 for the ladies?
just the way it's rated
Par
by the
73.
USGA.
That's what
They,
it-
they could come in, but they've come in and we've mentioned it, and it's still a par 4.
Yeah, it's a little, it's a
Yeah.
tweener, you know,
Yeah.
it's a little short for a 5, it's a little long for
But
a
then you could
4.
have one set of tees on 12 if you had that true forward tee.
I'm just, I thought about that, okay.
Wanted to throw that out.
So, anything else for CIP? I mean, you know, it's,
Well, the driving range needs some more work, right? Like,
so where's your phase-in plan?
I'd like to get some sort of chipping here, or, you know.
Well, how about the netting that we need to over to
Well,
this, you know?
That, you know, we started conversations in the last couple meetings with Bill, so, yeah, I mean, we'll talk about it and see where we're at.
Netting to the left, I think, it prevents hitting some of the cars, right, and going into the parking lot, and maybe that'll avoid people getting, you know, potential balls on 18, but yeah. And, you know, the chipping area and the sand area, I mean, it's,
I mean, do you get a lot of complaints from the driver lanes on the right-hand side? I mean, a lot of balls going that way, but.
across the road, you mean?
Yeah, I don't hear anybody, I hear
Honestly,
I know, I'm
I
surprised
haven't
with
heard
that.
of anybody.
I haven't heard
The
anything
only one I see
either.
doing that on a consistent basis.
But it is scary, right?
You?
When I'm driving from the maintenance building, you know, towards the driving range, you know, obviously I see people. Any little push or shank might get me in the head, but
No, no, no,
maybe,
Yeah.
there used to be bigger trees there, right?
Well,
Right.
the
Jerry?
same trees, they
Yeah.
just cut up the bottom. They
Yeah,
cut up the bottom that would prevent a lot of the balls
from it.
from going that way.
Cause I'd love to utilize that hill more, the top of that hill more, with whatever short.
To the right? Over to the right, you mean?
Like where the bunker is right now,
Yeah.
there's a lot of space to the right of that, that you
Yeah.
can do some stuff in. A lot of people chip there anyway already,
Right.
so, but for that to happen, we gotta put netting on the right of the range, hitting area, like Mark says, so nothing goes that way.
So you're talking just a net to block it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
not
Like
like,
even like Megan, like.
Yeah, no, I know,
in the
like 10
trees,
feet high.
in
No,
the
you don't,
trees.
no. If
yeah,
you do it, you wanna do it right, you know, so you have a net there
right,
with poles or whatever, and then you take it in now, you know, almost like, you know, somebody doing soft toss, you know what I mean, in baseball,
I think
something
a
to that
telephone
effect.
pole is tall enough to.
Well, that's not, you don't need anything that tall, I mean, you just need it,
Just so that it won't hit somebody in the head, it could go over.
Oh,
yeah, go over 'em.
Yeah. keep the
Exactly.
line dry.
Exactly, yeah.
But one thing is coming up that, as you come up the road there, where the driving range is, where that telephone pole is, they need to put a stop sign back.
right there.
They need to put a stop sign because the traffic just flies through.
Where's this?
But when you can go this way,
Right,
Yeah,
they need to slow it down because that's crazy.
by the, driving range.
By the driving, you need to put a
Go
stop
right
sign.
or go left?
Oh,
Because
when you-
people
when you're
don't
coming
slow
in.
down, they
They
come,
Well, they come
They
flying
fly
by.
through there.
and
That's fair, man.
Yeah.
I think that's a good idea.
Cause you know, like, because like when we set
How about
up,
a speed
and then,
bump?
I mean, well, the speed bump would,
Yeah,
I
put a
think the
stop
stop sign would be perfect because they just fly right through
They're
there.
gonna go through the stop sign anyway, so the only way, you just slow people down for the speed bump,
Put a speed bump there.
Yeah.
you know,
You
a
see
hump.
the shape of our asphalt, you know, how put a speed bump in there? Please.
A hump.
Yeah, they gotta slow them down because it's bad.
It's bad. Yeah.
I have a question here, so there's two CIP plans, there's a 10-year plan and a 5-year plan. Are these, so,
Well, I think it's up to us to come up with a plan
I
now.
think those are like to be modified by us now.
so is that what we're doing, or,
We did earlier, like,
I'm sorry. I
Jared
missed-
Paradis was here and he
Oh.
recommended for us to give Board of Finance our top 3 projects.
They're looking at a 5-year plan, so what I have to do, I'm gonna send something out to everybody by this weekend of, it'll be general enough with some prices in there of, you know, so they can bond, course improvements, bunkers, bridges, things of that nature.
There's a
right?
newer list where it's broken down to like course redesign and
Do we have that?
that was sent, yeah, you have that, this one that was sent out, and then, so it's a redesign, we call it course improvements again, and then, you know, we'll get into, you know, what has to be bonded and what doesn't have to be bonded. So,
You really, you do an exercise where you put up the, whatever the things are, and everybody gets 5 picks, and then the top one's got.
well, the top one right now would be the bridges and bunkers, and then, I guess equipment will be up for grabs whether we lease it or not, and then we can go from there, but, you know, you got, sooner or later, you're gonna have to start looking at, you know, the bathrooms out in the course, right, you know, and,
Correct.
cause they are getting bad,
I
you know?
know, in regards to equipment, I would like to move the dump truck money to equipment.
You don't need to buy, you know, I'll be first one to say that, I don't know why you wanna buy a dump truck, it doesn't make any sense. It never made any sense, you're right, when you need it.
He's okay with it.
Yeah.
I spoke to
Well,
him.
you know what?
Rent it.
Well,
Figure out what you're gonna need it for.
we never even get a dump truck anyway. I mean,
That's what I'm
how
saying.
long does it take to get a dump truck?
That's what I'm saying.
sorry.
Well,
There's
As long as
15 million
we-
that come up for sale, used every day.
I'm pretty sure the town has got new dump trucks, we can borrow theirs.
yeah, well, you plan out ahead when you're gonna need it, right?
Right.
And so, this is, we've always done it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, right, and so this, again, we come back to the same, you know, mantra that we've had, so, all right,
I have one thing,
shoot,
the seniors would like us to put the thing back under in the flags,
what, the cups?
to help them get the ball.
Why don't we just give them little things they can put on the back of their putter and they can go in there and.
That's what I have.
I saw that for the first time, I was like, holy cow, look at that, you know?
You never know that there was a ball sucker for a.
No, there's a clip section.
You never saw those before?
No, I was like, look at that.
Tom Forty's got like a
Yeah,
dozen.
yeah, the claw.
The claw, the claw,
We have
the
it
claw.
at, yeah, Amazon.
That's unbelievable. I saw
Oh,
the
the claw?
the claw.
We
Oh,
have
you
the
never saw the
claw.
claw?
The
Make it
claw,
flow.
it's like this, right?
Oh, what, it's just
No, I
like a
got
spring?
Yeah.
Yeah, a little
4
spring.
or 5, yeah, that works great.
As long as they don't hit the edges, that's fine, right? I mean, that's,
So they want it, so they want it before, like we had it before with the flag.
so they can pick it up.
There, so they can pick it
I
up,
have it in my office. I used it a little
but
bit.
they don't wanna bend over.
Well, it's good that they don't want to, maybe they can, you know?
I know,
I
I
can
think
get hurt.
The next thing is that if there was water in it, you don't have to worry about it.
Well, who took them out of there? I mean,
Well, we had a meeting
We
a
talked
couple
about
meetings
that.
ago,
Yeah,
and,
And they were-
someone suggested we take it off.
because they were ruining the holes when they were putting them back in.
I'll take it.
That
That
didn't
was
work
the problem.
well, you told me, I mean, was it,
Well, they ruined the hole, they were ruining the holes when they were putting them back in.
Did that problem
That was the
stop?
problem.
since we took it off?
No,
Well, no,
because
the
they were
holes
putting
still
hooks in there now.
I mean, we saw how we played today, with the cup, how the cup was around there. I mean, it wasn't great. I mean, so I figure you might as well just put the back in there, because as you pull it up.
Yeah, I personally, I think that those things are flimsy enough where they don't really do much. Because when you, if they hit the side of it, it goes up and it goes down. I mean, the illusion, or one would think that they're hurting, but I don't see a difference from what they were.
I think you're a big idea.
If we got,
Wait,
I didn't,
So
I
you
didn't
He
realize,
picks up everybody,
It's funny
here.
It doesn't cut out.
I didn't realize
Doesn't
that
cut out.
they gave it like that.
Well, it's like a
You know,
track.
I think if it's gonna help, yeah. And it doesn't ruin the,
That's what I.
something they gotta pay a
But
dollar
like
more.
it seems like it's so, the rubber
Cause
seemed to
like
me
when I was
like
out
it's
there, I
very
was like.
flexible.
Guys, hello, hey, one at a time.
It seemed to me like the rubber, on the post was very flexible, so I didn't think it was really scraping the hole that much, rounding it out.
So,
What I've noticed about the cups is that whoever's cutting the cups, they're not consistent. Some of them are crooked, some of them are like this, I mean, is it the actual mechanism that they have not sharp enough to, or is it because of all the wetness that we have on the course? But I noticed that cups are a little bit crooked and, you know, not cut really round. That's I don't know if you guys have seen it, but I've
I've seen it. I've seen it.
I mentioned to the gang, I know, you know, I don't want make excuses and
No,
say it's the weather and stuff, but, you know, sometimes it's just paying attention to your work, so, let them, you know, ask them to pay attention to small details and stuff.
Do they need a new tool?
We offered to buy
No,
Vans,
no,
the Vans Club offered to buy them a really,
That
really,
round thing, the manhole thing.
really good cut cutter.
Sometimes it's human error, or I would say most of the time, because it's not rocket science, I mean,
It almost looks to me, cause I've seen it, like, maybe it's not sharp enough.
there you go, that too.
Yeah, the holes aren't really crisp.
Chris,
Correct,
Right.
they haven't been
Like,
always.
it's not tight on the sides, it's
I
like,
see.
it gets loose,
Loose.
and it just almost looks like it's probably not sharp enough for me.
So how would you
But
sharpen
I
it?
don't,
we usually send them out at the beginning of the year,
Oh,
but maybe it's time for a new one,
Yeah.
so,
Or to get it sharpened
Yeah,
again, maybe it
yeah.
has to be sharpened more than once a year.
so,
do you have a backup? Is it,
yeah,
Oh,
we
there's
have
a couple.
there are a
oh,
few.
so once you
It's
get them all
almost like
sharpened, like,
the
it's
cup.
like,
The cup, it doesn't have like, it's not varying in width from soil, you know what I mean, like, so that's not crooked, but we'll look into it. Maybe
So
it's
you-
time for
They're
new
just
ones.
not crisp.
Yeah,
you could swap them out, and it's enough that you send one out, the first one, you put the second one in, by the time the second one's to be swapped out, it's already
Don't
back.
forget, they cut, there's somebody cutting on the front and somebody cutting on the back.
So how many do you have? And so how many
They
spares
They
you
don't,
have?
they don't change them every day.
Whenever cups are changed, there's one on each side.
Yeah, no, we get it, but how many covers do they have?
I don't
2,
know.
3? Yeah, 4,
Okay.
so, I mean,
Did
And
somebody
you-
say one time about painting them?
on the inside,
On
Peter,
the inside, white?
Yeah,
that's extra time.
That's more
Yeah,
work.
it's.
It'll look nice, but, you know,
Today they want that, today they want.
I think people would be happy if they were
I mean,
crisp. And
they
then
would-
we
yeah.
tell them, oh
Yeah,
yeah,
they
I
make
agree
your
with
value.
that. Put the effort in the
Today
crispness
might have been
versus.
left.
Yeah, that's what I said too. Yeah.
So I know that, where was I? I saw a guy cutting. He cut a hole, and then he took a piece of PVC, this long, like 4-inch piece. He took his foot and he just rolled it over the hole. And oh, that's cool. That eliminates the crowning if they're pulling it up or ever so slightly. You know?
Does it damage the edge though?
No.
interesting.
Hey, that guy has.
Alright, anything else?
I know. You awake, Joe?
Joe, wake up.
preloaded video.
He has it on
He's
loop.
in a different room now.
I heard that comment, Peter.
Alright, director's report. Sal,
So,
you're on.
you know, with school, you know, we lost a handful of staff, so we hired 2 new ones, Lana and Nick. You know, they're going through their training and they're doing good. So next time you're in the shop, we see it in your face. You know, just say hello. Thankful for the staff that we had. You know,
They were good.
they were great.
Mine
So
was great.
Yeah,
Yep.
it was.
they're all are welcome back to come back next year, and they know that. And you know, it's me personally, I'm sad because they were always nice staff. So
I've never seen Bob smile so much. He's been a starter shack. He loves it.
he likes to start check. Yeah, I think we found a good middle for him.
He's all happy at the starter shack.
But other than that, I mean, we looking to finish strong, and you know, all this talk about winter projects, it's exciting stuff because it's only improving the course.
Very good.
How's the GPS working out? Is it
Good.
being tweaked or?
So we've tweaked, we've listened. What I've been doing lately is I have 5 carts that are designated as handicapped, and what I mean by that is there's no restrictions for those 5 carts. I've asked people who use it to be careful where they park, and I've asked them not to go in between bunkers and green.
Yep.
You know, I asked them to go outside of the bunkers. So unless people see them doing it, you know, let me know. But
Did you have one of those cars today?
I was enjoying the hours.
You know, I was
Al
gonna say,
playing
because
it?
it was very respectful of the golf
Not
course
Al.
today.
Oh.
Al did a really nice job with that golf cart.
and I kept it unchecked.
And how about the flagpole area, did we restrict that?
Not yet.
Yeah, what is with that?
We got it, Chief.
I see one person doing it
Every day.
every day. Tell you what, if I see one more person doing it other
Okay,
than the
fair
one
enough,
person,
fair enough,
I'll lock it up.
fair enough. I mean, I feel bad for the guy,
Me too.
I feel bad for the guy.
I don't want him to hit me with his cane.
Well,
You know?
well, we can have Nancy take care of that.
He would too.
He would.
He would.
He would.
He would.
Like I said, as long as no one else does it, like the one like I just feel like me accommodating them, you know.
I know, you're too nice.
I'm a nice
A
guy.
lot nicer than me.
Well,
That's one of my downfalls.
all right. Mark, you wanna go?
You want me to go through it, or you wanna ask any questions?
Any questions on that? Has everybody read all the reports?
Yes.
Okay, well then, you know what, then we, anything stick out on Mark's report or anything?
In particular?
I mean, I would just highlight the comparison to last year, we're obviously still doing okay from a revenue standpoint. Just an update, like the leagues, I keep getting inquiries for new leagues, we just have nowhere to put them. It's a good problem to have.
Yeah.
I mean, we can't account, because I mean, our existing leagues seem.
That's your bread and butter, man, let's just call it what it is, I mean, it's,
So
you
it's
know.
a good thing, and the new point of sale system, the T-Sheet made it so much easier to set up leagues, put them on the appropriate.
So have you guys worked out all the bugs with that thing, and you fully understand all the capabilities now, or are we just doing enough that we need to get by, are we using it for its full potential?
I mean, I would say I set up the T-Sheet, the daily, and I would say that I don't know a whole lot about the online system, just personally. So I don't think I know it's on, but I don't think all areas are available online because it made it really hard to set it up. And I feel like this winter, I really need to.
So there's more training that has to happen, is what you're saying?
Yeah,
Basically,
like,
okay.
we made it
That's what I was
this year.
trying to drive at, is like,
You know what, our T-Sheet was full daily when the weather was nice, which is great, so obviously people are still calling and everything, but I think for our online, I need to know more about how it works so I don't run into any issues. Cause like there was a time even last week, remember that tournament where I thought I had blocked it and I didn't block it and people were booking online, which wasn't good. I know, I made Saul take care of it.
So I'll take the hit.
That was an easy one, there's only like 2 times, but like Saul was all over it, you know. And we're still just getting used to that system. In terms of the daily point of sale, I mean, it looks to me from the outside in like it's working out well.
Excellent.
Express, man, best thing we did all year. Express check-in.
Oh,
And
God.
I think
All
that's
right.
why our revenue
Next.
is up a little bit too.
Check, huh?
Hold on, I'm not done.
Oh.
I think that our revenue is up a little bit because we're not giving away those barter times. We
You
said
think
2
so,
tea
huh?
times. Well, I mean, it can only help.
Yeah,
Those 2 tea times we're giving away each day, we're filling on nice days. So that can only help the revenue stream.
all right.
Yep, okay, no.
No, that's fine, that's fine.
So,
And I like that plaque that we have for Armin on 10,
Yes,
So,
that's cute.
know. make note of that. Say, you got a question?
Armin Street?
Yeah, we have the ability to go into reserve based on a seasonal, a resident, non-resident. What time does it activate in the morning so that you can, like, for example, I wanna do a tea time for next Wednesday. What time does it actually turn on? Is it midnight? Is it when you?
Is it the threshold or
Yeah.
within the threshold?
5 days before you,
Yeah, 5 days, yeah, within the threshold.
If it's the threshold, was it 7 a.m.?
thought it was 6:30, right?
What's that, 7 a.m.?
7 a.m.
7 AM it turns on.
Yeah, but if you're like, let's say today you're trying to book for tomorrow,
You can't do it.
I think you just go on now.
No, yeah, you can
don't
do
gotta
that,
wait
yeah,
till
it's the
7
5 days, it's the
Yeah.
5 days up front.
So you wanna know when it becomes live for the 5 days?
Right.
Seven.
Okay. Very good.
Are we changing the time going forward, or are we gonna continue the time?
Probably as we hit the end of the month, so we're a week or two, and I'm sure we'll send out an email. Like when we decide, we'll send out an email that says, okay, we're gonna start taking tea time at this time.
How about, I know you told me, but Nancy was asking about your first tea times of the day.
What time will that be?
Well, right now,
We
it's-
have the Lady Nighters going on the 5th.
yeah, so it'll be 7:30 still.
Okay, good.
Yeah, we usually don't move to 8 o'clock until mid-October.
Oh, good.
As we get, yeah. Could be a frost delay, but Doesn't look like it.
Not this weekend, still a rain delay, but that's about it.
I know.
And Jerry's report, alright, anything else, Jerry's report? There's only one question I have on Jerry's report, it's just do with the native areas, and, you know, Jerry was saying that they were gonna let that area, there were certain areas they were gonna let grow, right? I mean, all the time now they cut down,
You have to cut
You
down,
have
you
to.
have to cut that down.
you do?
Oh, absolutely.
I didn't know that, I
Yeah,
thought that
yeah.
you just said, no, I never knew that, so,
Yeah, yeah.
okay, well,
Yeah,
that's,
yeah.
Jerry wants
They'll
to
lay down, they'll lay
Like
down
on
flat, it's
17.
the longer they'll lay down flat, they'll die.
And they'll draw, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Is that what that, really, so,
You'll
I
notice, you'll notice every course cuts down their fescue and
Fescue.
everything else at the end of the
no, I
year.
never knew that, I thought that was just, you know, growing and whatever.
No,
What
eventually
are
you have
the
to
blue
cut.
lines? Do you know what?
Yeah, what's the
those are?
blue line for?
What's the blue line?
He's identifying native grasses,
Oh, okay.
so for spray. At one point, I was like, Jerry, ground under repair is white, what are you doing?
I've never seen blue lines.
Yeah,
out there.
cause he was doing it the same day for a club chat, I'm like, dude, ground under repair is white, man.
Well, you know what, that's interesting you said, cause even on 10, where they on the right hand side before the bunkers, that's all rock.
Mhm.
I mean,
I'm telling
on 10 on the right hand side, it's awful. It's like, you know, I was over there with somebody, like, holy cow, man, you're
Well,
gonna,
it's kind of like what's on two, you know, I
It
don't know how you're gonna get anything to grow there.
Well,
There's
on
no
10
soil.
yeah, you're right, there's
There's no
also,
soil.
they try to do it, and it's, well, I don't know whether
It's
it's
all rock there.
Right.
It's all rock, so what
What is it?
do you do? I mean, what do we do? I mean,
Well, it's all
is it girth? I mean, you can't be,
We have to look into, like, if there's some way to, get the rocks out, like either, you know, I don't wanna say like a scraping device, but, you know,
Then you gotta bring it topsoil.
screen it, you mean screen it?
You're
You have to
gonna
make it like
draw
topsoil.
Where are you
Waste
talking
bunker,
about, between
like a
10 and
waste
11?
area?
No, on 10, on the right hand side, as you're going up, you know,
first
No,
season,
10.
they were
Wait,
doing a lot of rocks.
10 where?
10, on 10, if you're going before the traps on the right hand
On the
side,
right,
you
where
get
the
work,
bunkers.
no, the rough,
In
the
the
rough
trees.
area, by the trees, between the trees and the fairway.
Correct.
Where your
There's
ball is.
Oh, near the path, you mean near the cart path?
No.
No.
10.
Right, you know,
10.
Oh, the
The
10.
bunker.
10, 10, no, not the T.
well, your tee shot.
Up by the car path.
I don't know where there's rocks.
The,
Well, they can put dirt in there.
Oh,
On the
there.
right.
You don't know where your
Up on the
ball is.
hill, there's a little hill leading to
Whatever,
the
it's just-
bunker.
I saw somebody over there, it's like, holy cow, move that ball, you know, that
Shouldn't even
doesn't,
be there.
whatever.
I was there, and I'm saying it shouldn't even be
Yeah,
there.
you shouldn't be there, you're gonna ruin your club,
Shut up.
you're gonna ruin your
And I
club
get a
hitting the
car,
ball.
by the way, so it's
You're
okay.
gonna ruin your club hitting the ball, I'm just
No.
telling you, but
I do what
it
you
needs
do.
soil in it. Look at-
But yeah, you have to bring topsoil if you wanna grow anything.
Okay, thank you, everybody, I have two things on my list, one, and somebody's got one on his, so we'll leave it at that, and I'll get something out to you all, by this weekend.
Thanks.
Fair enough.
Thank you.
Can I have a motion to adjourn? Motion to adjourn, Mr. Green.
Second.
Oh, we have a
Thanks,
second.
everybody.
Gotta run home.
Thanks, Joe. Joe, thanks for all your help today.
Hey, listen, Pete, it wouldn't have been the same without you, bud.
I love you, man.
Take care, everybody.
Now, did you guys play?